Hey everyone, today we're back with another DayZ video. Now, I'm not going to ramble too much, but the insane amount of love I received on my previous DayZ video was absolutely incredible. So if you've come from that, thank you so much for supporting the channel by just watching it, interacting with it. All of that stuff is a massive help. With that being said, today we're talking about DayZ's 2022 roadmap. Now, I briefly touched on this in the previous video. I said that there was a roadmap due in the middle of January. That's obviously not really happened, but we do have a more detailed look at the updates that are coming in 2022 and the planned support for DayZ. So with that being said, let's jump straight into it. If you do enjoy my videos here on the channel and you want to stay up to date with them, you can do that by subscribing to the channel and having the bell notification active. So yes, like I said, DayZ in 2022. They've just released their developer update slash roadmap slash future plans, I guess, for DayZ 2022. Now, I did briefly touch on some of this in the previous video, so all of this isn't exactly new information, but there definitely is some to take a look at. So starting with the update that's just gone live on the experimental branch, which is update 1.16. This was never going to be a massive update to the game. It was more of a fixing update and to sort of lay the foundations ready for the rest of the updates. Now, update 1.16 has just entered the experimental phase, like I said, and they do expect that to move over to official on February the 15th, so on Tuesday of next week. And for all of you that play on official servers, there isn't going to be a wipe with update 1.16. Now, with that update, there was a couple of new things to make note of, one of them being the PP Bison, which you would have seen all over YouTube. I know Wobo has already done a great video on that, so I will leave a link to that in the description. As well as that, I'm pretty sure there was a black press vest and a yellow motorcycle helmet, and then just like a load of fixes. Like I've said a few times, 0.16 isn't a massive update in the way of content. But with update 1.17, there is going to be a slightly bigger one, and that will also come with a wipe. So the first wipe of 2022 will be arriving with update 1.17, and we've already got hints of what's going to be in that update. For example, we now have a new bolt action rifle coming in 1.17, or so it is rumored, and that is what you see on your screen now, the CR550, which is a 308 bolt action rifle, much like the Blaze or the Winchester that we currently have in the game. So yeah, let's have a quick look at this blog post. So this is where it gets juicy, and if you do want to read all of this word for word, or a little bit slower than listening to me talk about it, then there will also be a link to this blog post in the description. But talking about one of the biggest things coming to DayZ this year, and that is changes to the Livonia DLC map. Unlike last year, we would like to pay more attention to our official terrains. Now, to me, that doesn't just mean Livonia. This is particularly true for Livonia, where we would like to add new points of interest and try to make the environment a bit more interactive. Now, if you have played Livonia a lot, you'll know it definitely does lack on the points of interest side, and some of the loot routes are extremely boring, and the military loot is really spread out, so there's no real choke points in the map, which is definitely what you can get on 𝙬𝙗𝙪. So yes, I'm really looking forward to the Livonia changes, and if you're a console player, I think you should be especially looking forward to this, because maybe it's going to make that map feel like a brand new map for you, because yes, unfortunately, with console, you are stuck with the two base maps, 𝙬𝙗𝙪 and Livonia. So moving on to items and things like that, they plan on ramping up their asset production. That includes a plan to introduce a variety of utility items to enrich the overall sandbox, as well as providing meaningful tools players can use to interact with each other and the environment. So that is very interesting. I wonder if we're going to get some more sort of holding up items. I know we already have the rope and things like the handcuff, and obviously you can also use duct tape and so on. But yeah, I wonder what it means by tools that you can interact with each other. I swear I don't want any more things like the megaphone. But yeah, new survival items are always good. One to note that we had last year was the new way you can catch fish and rabbits and stuff around the map. So anything like that is always going to be a plus and make the game feel a lot more alive. Now, as usual, they're going to aim for at least one new firearm with each update. Always nice to hear. But unlike last year, this time it's going to be focusing on more civilian weapons. Talking of civilian weapons, I've just mentioned the CR550. That is the prime example of a civilian weapon. And also mixing those with previously included legacy version weapons. So you never know, we may see things like the Longhorn make a return. Now, another big issue here in DayZ is the vehicles and, for example, hitting a tree and going a million miles in the air or something like that. It sounds like they're really trying to nail on vehicles this year, and this is what was said about that. We're in the process of importing the latest version of the vehicle simulation from a newer version of our Infusion engine. So the Infusion engine is what the next Arma game is most likely to run on. And we hope to bring some much needed stability to vehicle simulation in DayZ and expect to perform some public testing in the coming weeks. So that sounds like it is just around the corner, which is great news. Now moving on to console side of things, or at least controllers anyway. We plan on dedicating some time to the control scheme on controllers. This includes adding more sensitivity options and additional VoIP functionalities. Speaking of controls, we also plan on revisiting the way users can bind various gestures to keys. So if you're on console, I suppose this is great news for you, potentially being able to rebind keys and making it easier for you to play the game the way you want to. Now, seasonal events will also make a return this year. They had a lot of fun with these last year, the most recent one being the Santa's sleigh crashing instead of the helicopter crash sites, and of course the night vision jack-o'-lantern. We all had a lot of fun with that, and we can expect them to return, but they are also planning on spicing it up with new content and new features. So I wonder if we're going to see a return of the Easter egg, which, if you didn't play it around Easter last year, there was an Easter egg on experimental which you could throw at zombies and other things around the map and catch it and then release it again later on. Now, if you're a lore fan, you're going to love the next point I'm about to read out. Last but not least, we will be enriching and expanding upon Hannah's lore, which has already been introduced in previous DayZ update videos. Both our publishing and production departments will be working to support the lore both in-game and through our media. They do a great job with the update videos of also telling stories. If you haven't seen those, I definitely recommend visiting the DayZ YouTube channel to catch up on them. Now, something again I mentioned in my last DayZ video about the 5 updates in 2022, this is what is said about that number. We plan on releasing 5 updates this year, ranging from minor to major. We'll also be holding 4 seasonal in-game events. Another thing we'll be doing is working with our partners and community to improve and maintain the game's performance and stability. That includes ensuring as much as possible that older generations of hardware are not left behind. I mean, that is something we cannot complain about whatsoever. It sounds like a really nice move from the developers over at Bohemia working on DayZ. Now, a couple final notes. First, we will be expanding our team. Again, something I touched on in the previous video. They're always looking for talent to go and work on DayZ. So if you are working in the industry, or you have a job that you think you'd be perfect for, definitely have a look at that career page. And of course, if you're a big fan of DayZ and you want to get your hands on some cool DayZ clothing and accessories, I'm actually recording this at my desk, and above my monitor that I'm currently looking at, I have a massive Chernobyl map. I definitely recommend them. They are so cool. But yeah, you can head over to the merch store to pick things up like that, as well as some t-shirts and things. But yeah, that was it for the developer update. It just adds more details to what I've already spoken about in my previous video. But yeah, I was not going to miss this, and I wanted to keep you guys up to date on DayZ in 2022 because, oh yeah, you just showed a ridiculous amount of love on my previous DayZ video. So yeah, that is it for this video. If you did enjoy it, let me know by leaving a like. If you didn't, leave a dislike. And if you do want to stay up to date with me and my content, then do make sure to subscribe and have that bell notification active. With that being said, I'll see you all in the next one. Take care and bye bye.